In our top story this week, our government is going straight to hell, and it's all because of John Fetterman's hoodies. Yes, the Senate introduced new dress code rules, and everyone lost their damn minds about it. One conservative commentator said that Fetterman's casual attire was basically the same thing as the January 6th riot. And he is right. Wearing shorts at the Capitol is the exact same level of wrong as trying to hang Mike Pence. Or at least that's what Mike Pence says. The House was also planning on introducing a more casual dress code until they heard Lauren Boebert plan to show up in a Hooters tank top and a thong. And speaking of the House, they're performing an ensemble production of Shit Show the Musical as the government lurches toward a shutdown. Kevin McCarthy is still trying to unite his party members, but to be fair, it's hard to do anything with that many knives sticking out of your back. McCarthy started out by offering an impeachment inquiry to his most rightward comrades, to which they said, "No, I don't want cookies, I want cake." Then he told them to go fuck themselves like he should have done a long time ago, and then they blocked a funding bill for the Pentagon twice. Democratic Representative Angie Craig decided then it was time for a little levity and introduced the McCarthy Shutdown Act, which stands for the My Constituents Cannot Afford Rebellious Tantrums Handle Your Shutdown Act, and prevents anyone in Congress from getting paid during a government shutdown. You know, I've never had a favorite piece of legislation before, but I do now. Then Donald Trump very helpfully entered the chat and urged Republicans to shut down the government for the good of the country. I'm kidding. That man only does things for himself, and this is no exception. Trump thinks that if the government shuts down, that some of his legal troubles might go away, which is not how any of this works. But why would he know anything about how government works? It's not like he used to work there or something. So here we are. The stakes are high and time is short. The government has 1 week till shutdown. So naturally, Republicans are doing everything they can to, this just in, they have decided to take a 4-day weekend. Okay, you guys relax, go do some hashtag self-care, maybe get like a sugar scrub or something, and we'll see you back here next week. In an interview that Jack Smith has labeled Exhibit A, Trump blew up one of his main legal defenses, saying that all the bad stuff was his idea, not his lawyers. Special prosecutor Jack Smith had asked a judge to issue a gag order against Trump, but then realized he's the very best witness for the prosecution. All he's got to do is TiVo all of Trump's interviews and hit play for a jury. Boom! Case closed. But why would Jack Smith want a gag order on Trump in the first place? Well, he's accused him of making inflammatory remarks on social media. Trump's spokespeople argued that his inclusion of hashtag sorry not sorry in all of his posts shields him from prosecution. Trump also refused to say what he was actually doing during the January 6th riot.
I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell people later at an appropriate time.
This is actually his go-to response to all kinds of questions like, why are you in the women's bathroom? Would you please stop touching me? And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? What other ridiculousness spewed forth from Trump's mouth? Well, he's still repeating false claims that women want to get abortions after the baby is born. Right, so Democrats apparently want the right to stab their baby in the eye as the placenta is coming out right behind them, while Republicans want the baby to either starve to death or start manual labor as soon as possible. Good luck, kiddos! According to a former Trump employee, he had a nasty habit of taking any classified document handed to him and then just using that as his scrap of paper notepad. He'd use them to make lists or assign tasks to assistants. You know, just jotting down his lunch order on the back of Iranian war plans and handing it to an intern. But whomst among us hasn't scrawled a grocery list on the back of their last will and testament? Let he who has not jotted their email password down on their birth certificate cast the first stone. If you love it when two prominent nations fight like cats and dogs, then you're in luck. India and Canada are going at it. Canada accused India of killing someone in their country, and now diplomats are being expelled, visas are being revoked, and Canada hasn't said sorry once. It's the battle of poutine versus pakoras, and I can't wait for it to distract us from doing anything about climate change. Now that Ken Paxton's been acquitted in his impeachment trial, you might be wondering, how can we commemorate the occasion? Our own Austin Dodson is live at the Texas State Capitol with more.
Now, this may look like just an ordinary trash can filled with ordinary trash, and in many ways, it is. But it's also an art installation that was just finished being installed in commemoration of the end of the Kim Paxton impeachment trial. He was found not responsible for any of the many crimes he did actually commit. And as such, the artist has popped down this little guy. It is actually a, not so much companion piece as the artist describes it, as a bookend piece to their original installation slash happening that took place at the AG's office in the back alley. You may remember that dumpster fire from a while ago that sort of kicked all this off. Well, now they put this guy in to celebrate what the artist describes as the new standard of Texas politics. It's really a spoken visual reminder of just what goes into lawmaking these days. And I think it's pretty succinct and well done. Also well placed, just right here with full view of the Capitol. Now, the artist tells me that they're actually going to install another one of these every time the politicians inside act with the same amount of integrity and goodwill towards the people of Texas. I think that's wonderful. We should see them all around the Capitol grounds in no time. Hey, thanks for joining me here. Thanks for joining me on this little art walk, if you will. And back to you in the studio, Andrea.
Elon Musk has finally cracked it. His latest idea for Twitter is a paywall for all users to get rid of bots. He's also starting an extermination company that burns down your house to get rid of bugs. Russell Brand has been accused of sexual assault by several women. Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Andrew Tate, and Elon Musk have expressed their solidarity with Brand, so if that bunch suggests a group hug, maybe don't join in. Joe Salant, an evangelical pastor and rapper, is the self-appointed spokesman for Safrax, a bleach tablet used to deodorize your jacuzzi. But if you're listening to Conspiracy Talk Radio, and who isn't these days, am I right? It's a great treatment for autism, HIV, and cancer. Now, the law, remember that thing? Still sort of there. The law says that he can't actually recommend Safrax as anything other than a jacuzzi deodorizer, but why should that stop him? Safrax, the industrial jacuzzi deodorizer that cleans house, if house means the inside of your body. Lots of people want to take a trip to Oregon, but even more people want to take a trip in Oregon because the nation's first licensed magic mushroom service center is now open in Eugene. With more on this, we turn to our chief psychedelics correspondent, Jen Haston.
Good to still be here, Andrea. After my classical literature class with Abraham Lincoln, who gave me a C, and then I sprouted wings and flew over the nation's capital.
So you did a few mushrooms, huh?
Safrax. You really need to try some, Andrea. It also cures cancer.
Yeah, I heard about that stuff. Any recommendations for viewers looking to try shrooms legally for the first time, Jen?
Move to Oregon.
For the mushrooms?
Nope. For the weed. Weed is so cheap in Oregon right now. Gotta get it, Andrea!
Duly noted.
Fun fact! If you ingest enough weed, you trip like you're on mushrooms.
That is a fun fact, Jen. Now, why don't you go take a nap?
Totally. Yes, Andrea. Totally. I'm gonna do that.
Thanks, Jen. Well, if that wasn't weird enough, try this. In a sure sign of either the coming apocalypse or of me having a stroke, and let me warn you, I'm about to say a lot of words in a row that don't make any sense. It's going to sound like a Mad Lib, but this is an actual news story. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has released an album called We're Safety Now, Haven't We? Volume 1. Here is a sample.
I'm a wave high then bye. Don't forget to strap it on tight. Let's skate, let's scooter, let's bike.
If you'll excuse me, I've become completely untethered from reality. I'll be right back. And finally tonight, a bear was loose in Disney World before it was captured and relocated to a less magical kingdom. Unfortunately, Goofy remains unharmed. That wraps up this week's episode. We have a very big week next week, so be sure to tune in for all the surprises. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe and turn on your notifications. See you then. Bye!
Van Gogh. Van Gogh. Is it Van Gogh or Van Gogh? Well, I mean, there was the literature class with Abraham Lincoln. That was cool. But you really understand what I was trying to say. Like, I had this take on War and Peace, and like, he didn't like it. He didn't think I was esoteric enough. So, yeah. That's hard, you know?